because this life means nothing more to you. So it doesn't matter if someone comes and hurts your feelings or says something about you. It doesn't matter if someone comes and tries to hurt you or tries to distract you or tries to kill you, because you're already dead. And so when you love someone who's hurt you, not only are you demonstrating that you yourself are dead to the flesh, but you're demonstrating, you're pouring that healing oil into their lives. You're pouring that healing oil into that wound that's been so left raw and by the things of this world, been exposed by the enemy. You're pouring that healing balm into that wound, and you're causing healing to come. For when you love someone else, and when you show someone love, when you help them out, when you help them in their situation and you forgive them, they can't help but change towards you. They can't help but change their attitude towards you. They can't help but rethink what it is that they thought about you. For when you start to love someone unconditionally, and I'm probably not doing justice to the way the Lord gave it to me, but when you start to love somebody, they start to think twice about what's going on in their lives. They start to think about twice about what you've done. And I've shared this story before, and I don't want to go into detail about it, but it's so true because it's exactly what the love of the Lord does. I remember there was a friend of mine. She's going through a situation with her husband. I don't want to go into too much detail, but severe enough that he was done with the relationship. They've been married for so many years, and he was just done. He didn't love her anymore. He wanted to walk out. 3 beautiful children, just wanted to leave them and be about his own business and do his own thing. And I remember being on the phone with her and just in tears and just, praying with her and crying. And I remember her calling her back and telling me that the Lord is telling me to love him. And she said, I can't understand it. I can't understand, Here I am trying to find some way out of the situation. And the Lord is telling me to love him. She said the Lord gave her the directions to wake up and to make his lunch, for, iron his clothes, and to do all the things that she had done as a wife, or all the things she should have done as a wife. To continue to have these little examples of love in her life, and to put her own hurt and her own pain aside, to put her own feelings towards this man aside, and to love him. To do whatever she had to do to put aside herself and to show this man that she still loved him. And I remember her crying, saying, I don't think I can do this. This man has caused me so much hurt, so much pain, so much distress. Night after night I'm up crying, trying to explain the situation to my children. I don't understand how the Lord can be telling me to love this man after all that he's done to me. But not wanting to be disobedient, she followed the Lord's orders. And through her tears and through her pain, she got up early every morning and ironed his shirt, even when he spat in her face and screamed all kind of profane things against her. And in the midst of her tears, she continued to love him. She continued to get up and to make his lunch, and even go as far to put little love notes in his lunch. And she every day she would say, you know what? I don't know how I'm doing this, but I know it's only the love of the Lord. I know it's only the Lord that's giving me the strength to love him. Because in myself, I want to hate him so much. I want to throw something at him. I want to strangle him. I just want to do anything to inflict the same kind of pain on him that he inflicted on me. But I know that's not the Lord's way. And I know it's only the Lord that's giving me the strength to love him. And don't you know that the Lord used that to bring her husband back, but not only to restore their marriage, but to restore his relationship with the Lord. For there's something that happens when you start to love each other. And as he was talking to her after the fact, he said, you know what, every time I'd see a little note, and it would get me, because I'd want to be so mad at you, but I couldn't. I couldn't be mad at you, because here you were doing the things that I should have been doing. I should have been showing you love. I should have been helping you, because I'm the one who hurt you. But you kept loving me. You kept ironing my clothes for me and making my lunch. Even making my favorite lunch and doing all those things that I appreciate. And he says, I couldn't help. I couldn't help myself. But that hurt that had been caused in him, that caused him to hurt her, was filled when she started pouring in that balm of love. So it's not for no reason when Paul tells us to wherefore put away lying, speaking every man's truth with his neighbor. For we are members one of another. For his husband and wife, they were one. But how much more us? We are part of the same body. And so we are one. The Bible goes on to say, let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands to the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth. In other words, you recognize the error of your ways. Now's the time to rectify it. And not only just rectify it, but do what you do for the good of others. Put yourself aside. Just like my friend, she had to put herself aside and put her own needs and her own wants aside to do which is right. And it was labor. Let me tell you, it was labor, because it wasn't easy. It's not easy to love someone who's hurt you. It's not easy to love someone who in your face has proclaimed all kind of bold things against you. But the Lord is calling us to love. Because we don't know what the other person has gone through. We don't know what situation has caused the other person to inflict such pain and hurt on us as they have. But we do know is that hurting people hurt others. So if someone is hurting you, it's because somewhere along the line they've been hurt. And they've been hurt by someone else who's been hurt, by someone else who's been hurt. And it's a continual dangerous cycle. And the cycle will only stop when someone decides to allow the balm of love to be poured in their wounds. The cycle will only stop when we put aside our own feelings and say, you know what, it doesn't matter what you've said to me. It doesn't matter what you've done to me, but I'm going to love you anyway. The cycle of hurt only stops when we think of the other person more than ourselves and do what we have to do to minister to their needs, knowing that the Lord will take care of this situation. Love is what the Lord is calling us to this morning. Love is what he is dictating to us to do. He said, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. If I know you're going through a situation, you don't need me to come in and tell you, about my bad day and all the things that I've gone through, but what you need to hear is a word. What you need is to be edified by this word, to be encouraged by the word of God. For hearing about my miserable day is not going to make you feel any better, but when we get into the word together, it edifies us both. It strengthens us both. The Lord is calling us to love this morning. It goes on to say, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. We sang that song last week, says, I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. It's hard to stand with someone that you don't agree with. It's hard to stand with someone that you're always talking about behind their backs or arguing with or in strife with. It's difficult to be able to stand with someone if you don't really care about what they have to say or who they are. But the Lord is telling us to put away those things, for all those are acts of the enemy. That's the enemy's MO, if you will, but that's the demonstration of someone who's ruled by the enemy. For as we said before, you'll know a person by their behavior. For there are many who say that they're children of God and that they're Christians and they believe in God, but yet when you watch their actions, it makes you think something differently. I was talking to my colleague and he believes in God, but he's not in the church, and he was giving me this example. He often comes in my office to talk about these things. He's like, it's so funny. He's telling me he was watching the Grammys the other day, and he said, it's so funny how these singers, they stand up, and the first thing they do is they say, I want to thank God for this award. I want to thank God for giving me the opportunity to sing. And with their mouths, they glorify God, but yet when you watch their videos, they're doing all kind of lewdness and nonsense and things that don't bring any kind of glory to God. And he was telling me about one of the tennis twins, Venus or Serena, I don't remember which one, and how she's, when she won Wimbledon, she stands up quick and said, I'd like to thank Jehovah for all that he's done, and that yet when she had a call that was against her, she was about ready to ram a tennis ball down the throat of the official. Yeah. That's not love. No. And if you have love, you'll demonstrate it. And if you're of God, your Father, then you'll demonstrate love within you. But if your acts are this bitterness and this wrath and this anger and this clamor and this evil speaking that the Bible talks about, then you're not really of God.